Evening, everyone. Ginna here, and I am joined today by Sentinel and Eternal Shaddai on the XPN USA podcast. How are we both?
Good.
Good. How are you? Thank you for the invitation.
I'm good. It's good to have you. I think today's session we're just going to talk a little bit about what's going on in gaming and what you're playing at the moment, but also what games you're anticipating most this year. Oh, look at him, all beautiful on camera. I look a mess today. I've worked 4 12-hour shifts back to back, so I'm off camera today.
I actually
Nice.
did 11 today. So
Oh, nice. So start with you, Shaddai. What have you been playing recently?
actually, I know yesterday I played with Bushido, and Infinite Umbra, Halo Infinite multiplayer custom.
Nice.
That was really nice. Not too long ago, I finished 100%, and I'm talking about trophies, the works. What is that called? Blacktail by Parasite. And now I'm working with Max Payne 1, and I'm talking about the OG one. So I'm trying to do the whole shebang.
Excellent.
I wanna go for that Resident Evil 4, but I'm gonna wait for it.
Yeah, I've been on Halo Infinite again recently on J-Rock's community nights, and the game is so much fun now if you get a big group of you with like all the stuff being made in Forge. It's just a different game.
No, we had one map that it was made Bikini Bottom. That was funny.
Have you done the one where you're all in like different molehills and you're like popping up out of the ground with your snipers to try shoot each other?
No, I know the ones. It was the one that I said about SpongeBob. Then we did one that I think it was like Skyrim. That map is huge, like
Yeah.
really huge. And I think one map is called Blackout. I know it got to be Blackout because somebody remade that from Halo 3, if I'm not mistaken. That was a good map.
So someone's just remade one of the midship ones as well, with all the bridges connecting them. So yeah, I can't wait to play that. We are joined by Uso Vinny as well. Good to see you, dude.
Hey, how's it going? Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yes.
You just,
No, stop.
We've just been going through what we've been playing this week just to start things up. So what have you been playing?
Oh, I did recently just get Resident Evil 4, which is really good. Really liking that. Still in the beginning. Haven't really put too much time into it, but great remake, I think. And another game that I've been just time consumed by was Banner Lords 2 that just came on Game Pass last week. Or a couple weeks ago, actually. That's a really good game.
That Banner Lords, is that the one that's a bit like what's that game? Is this
Like
Chivalry?
Age of Empires, but
okay.
There's also a third-person mode, so it's really fun. It's really good.
Yeah, that's what I think I've seen is the third-person mode. It reminded me a bit of that Chivalry game.
It's similar, yeah. The combat's like a more generic version of Chivalry's gameplay, but it's still good. It's really good.
Yeah, definitely have to check that out then. And then lastly, we got Sentinel.
Yeah, same as Uso, I've been playing Resident Evil 4, the remake. I'm actually on my second playthrough right now. It's a lot of fun, but it is more challenging than the original. The enemies are crazy in this one.
Oh, it's a second playthrough.
Yeah, it's it's like Resident Evil 4 has been one of my favorite games for a long time, and I enjoy playing through it, but you can't play the remake exactly the same way you could play the older one just because of how hard it is.
Okay, a challenge for you now. Rank your top Resident Evil to your last.
Oh, Jesus. That would be a little difficult.
I know it is.
Yeah,
Imagine it'd be easy to pick out your worst one.
Oh, jeez. Probably gonna say Umbrella Chronicles.
I mean, well, a lot of people. I say a lot of people hate a lot on Operation Raccoon City, but I've never played it, so who knows, right?
Wait, Operation which one? Raccoon City, you mean?
Yeah, they say that's like the worst one, but I don't know.
Wait, Operation Raccoon City, the one with the 4-player co-op.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, I love that game. That was really good.
And
See, I haven't played it, so I don't know.
You know what's funny though? I bought it not too long ago because I never played it. But there was another one that the reticle, like the red dot, was so off, and I'm like, "What is this?" It was really off, but it's not Raccoon City. It was something else.
Yeah, they put out some stinkers for sure. No offense, Uso, but I think nobody likes Operation Raccoon City. I'm just saying.
I think Resident Evil 6 is the worst one by far, but
yeah, I could agree with that out of the games I've played, because I played Resident Evil 6 and I was like, what the hell is this shit? And I just stopped. I couldn't go back to it. So, agreed.
I think mine is, like I said, Umbrella Chronicles and Zero, just because, not the story, it's just that the item case that you gotta, upgrade, and you gotta decide which one to drop and which one to take.
Yeah, I'm still yet to get the remake of Resident Evil 4. I remember playing the first one back on the GameCube. I didn't have the special controller, though. I remember seeing it in the shop, the little chainsaw controller you could use for it.
You're talking about the Wavebird, the wireless one?
Yeah, it looked
the
insane.
Wavebird. I had it. It was good. Yeah, actually, they made it really good. That was a really good controller.
So now you have people that are like, oh, well, which one are they going to do next? Resident Evil 5 or Code Veronica?
Code Veronica, please. No, because they're remaking all this, but they keep skipping Code Veronica X when what's going on. But then I keep hearing that supposedly they gotta talk to Sega because remember it used to be, or I don't know if it's still exclusive for Sega because it was during the Dreamcast.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, they better remake that.
Yeah, you know what? I think Code Veronica would definitely need it because it has tank controls that are horrible.
Well, Resident Evil 1 is the same thing because you can't even move.
Yeah.
They should change that. If they change that, well, they actually did with 3 and 2, so it shouldn't be no problem.
You know what's funny, right? Is like you had these games that came out this year, and yeah, Hi-Fi Rush got tons of people's attention, and you had Atomic Heart got tons of people's attention, and of course you have Shadow Warrior 3. I still haven't finished that, by the way. I am going to go back to it.
Good game.
But Resident Evil 4 Remake is really the only game that I think launched this year that really drew me in, and I keep wanting to play. Whereas the others, I'm like, I'll get back to them when I get a chance. But Resident Evil 4, the remake, really drew me in.
I think for me, for now, is Dead Space Remake and that one so far.
Yeah, I haven't picked up Dead Space Remake yet. I love the original Dead Space. Mm-hmm. I didn't have the money. It was either that or Resident Evil, and I had to make a choice. So,
No, I played for a long while, Dead Space Remake, and they changed a lot. And I mean a lot compared to the one on the 360 PlayStation 3 era. So they changed a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's it sounds like a lot of people at first are like, oh, I don't want them to change this or change that. But with a lot of these older games, it's actually a good thing, especially when they put a lot of care and concern into it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when I heard some people say, oh, they changed some stuff in Dead Space, and I'm like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. They go back and they have the chance to see what didn't work as well and figure out how they can, give the gamers a better experience. Mm-hmm. And when you see that in a remake, it works very well. It works very well.
Yes, it does.
They do that a lot with modern games, don't they, where they add a lot of things to help the game play and feel better that you don't realize you need until you try to go back and play an old game.
Yes.
Like a lot of my friends used to say that some of the old Pro Evos and Sensible Soccers are the best football games ever made.
Yeah.
If you try to play those games now, my God, those games are hard. Especially Sensible Soccer. If you change directions, try to go around someone, the ball doesn't go with you if you're not moving on the because you kick the ball like a yard or two ahead of you. Keep moving, and if you change direction when the ball isn't at your foot, you change direction, but the ball just keeps going in the straight line. You
Oh
don't.
Jesus!
But instinctively, when you were younger, you must have just got used to it and done it. And if you go back and try play the game now, because on FIFA and what have you, you can change direction on the spot, you can do tricks, and the ball just is like it's glue stuck to your foot. Whereas if you go back to those old games, that ball was not glued to your foot. If you didn't try change direction at the right time, you just lost the ball. That's one of those things I think where modern games have kind of picked up and realized this shit's hard.
I don't think people realize how modernized we are when it comes to gaming. That when we even try to pick up these old games, which I have tried, I've tried to play like a bunch of 360 titles just to go through my backlog before all these new releases. The controls are horrible. The camera sensitivity is horrible. Like even things like FOV is just like, which was never a big deal to me, now is a huge deal. And it's just a lot has changed since the early 2010s.
You know, and I know we all give Jim Ryan tons of shit because he said this whenever they did the PS1 remake. You know, he had looked prior to that at these games at some PlayStation event and said, who would want to play these crappy looking games? Yep. And I mean, it's like it came out, everyone is like, oh, but he's kind of right, because you look at these games that have horrible controls, and it's like, it's not necessarily that he's disrespecting the legacy. It's just he has the modern gaming in mind, and he looks at those and says, why would you want to go back and play those when you can play these? And I completely get it, but obviously it came out wrong. But he does make a good point, and like Uso was talking about, you know, you go back after you're playing modern games and you look at those and you're kind of like, Jesus.
It's funny that we're talking about that, about this, because when I finished Blacktail, I'm like, you know what? I never played Max Payne, probably like 1 or 2 hours, because during the 360 era, it was so packed of games. And when I decided to play Max Payne 1, I'm so used to pressing the left trigger to actually aim and the right trigger to shoot. And all of a sudden, Max Payne started triggering that slow, what is it called? The bullet slowdown or anything like that?
Bullet time.
Yeah, the bullet time. And I'm like, no, what is it? And I'm like, so I have to go to the option, and I'm trying to, you know, configure all the buttons. I'm like, I can't play like this. I had to change a lot. It took me a while.
What Max Payne game was it that was set in Brazil? Was it Max Payne 4 or 3?
3. It's only 3 parts. So you got to.
Yeah, it was the last one. 3.
That game is amazing. Like, that was so good. I remember buying that just on a whim. I was like, I enjoyed the old Max Paynes. This one's down to like, it was like £8-9 or something. It got reduced really quick, and I thought, yeah, I'll pick that up and give it a blast. I could not stop playing it. It was so good.
Yeah, remember, it's Rockstar, and back in the days, it was actually Remedy who made it. So I kind of knew they were gonna go, you know, they're gonna go, you know what? Let's go full blown Max Payne action.
You know, it's kind of surprising that Take-Two Interactive didn't pick up Remedy to keep them with Rockstar Games. You know,
I know. Sometimes I wonder why Microsoft never took them after Max Payne being a really good game and Quantum Break being a good game
and the Alan Wake. You know,
yes, the Alan Wake.
They definitely should have picked him up.
I had no idea Remedy did Max Payne. That's crazy. I mean, it makes a lot of sense looking at it now, but
yeah, it's Remedy, but it was developed by 3D something.
Okay.
So yeah, I forgot. I know it's 3D something Studios, I think it's called. But yes, but I'm very surprised that I think they sold that IP to Rockstar, and that's the reason why Max Payne 3 was pretty much Rockstar. So
yeah.
That was a really good IP, but like I said earlier, I'm very surprised that Microsoft never picked them up. But at the same time, it was a different management, and you know how what is his name?
Phil Spencer?
No, the other one.
Matrick?
Yeah, whatever his matrix is.
Yeah, Don Matrix. There you go.
Yeah, Don Matrix. Yeah, that's why I couldn't, I couldn't remember because he did so wrong that it's like he's very forgettable. So,
There
but
wasn't
yeah,
enough TV in memory.
yeah, not too much, not enough TV on Quantum Break, I guess.
Too much game, not enough TV.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was funny.
yeah, he managed to kill a console launch, didn't he? He really didn't help himself.
And it's like I think Xbox would have recovered had PlayStation not immediately just fucking went in and intercepted the ball, because that's what it was. If PlayStation wouldn't have capitalized on everything they did wrong, because you remember it was in June of 2013. It wasn't at the launch window yet, but you still had people getting pre-orders and stuff. And so they said, hey, it's going to be $500. It requires the Kinect. You cannot play video. You can't play games offline. You have to do the 24-hour check-in. And nowadays we don't care about the check-in, but back then it was a big deal.
You can't share.
And it's all about TV. And of course, PlayStation is like, here's how you share the game. And the two guys handed the game. And they're like, that's how you share games on PlayStation. And you can buy the little camera, but it's extra. You don't need it. And our system is $399 instead of $499 like theirs. And it's all about games. And of course, everybody went,
What was stupid is the idea they had on the Xbox for sharing games was so much better than what PlayStation was looking to do, but they just don't get their message across at all. It really was an Xbox thing. So the thing they announced, it was on like an article straight after their E3 presentation. Why you wouldn't say this on stage is just bonkers. They were going to set it up so you could have 7 friends, or like a group of 7, and then if one of you bought a game, 2 of you could play that game at the same time from only owning 1 copy. And then if someone else in the 7 bought a copy, that means 4 of you could be on at a time. But all 7 of you had access to the game. So if it was a single player game or an online multiplayer, any of the 7 could be on, but only 2 at a time for each 1 copy of the game you bought. But then if it got to if you were the guy who owned the game and you came on and you were the 3rd person, it would kick one of the other 2 off then to allow you to play because you were the one who purchased it. And it was like, that's such a good idea to like game share. But then as soon as they said, oh, we're not doing the constant online thing, they announced they're killing that idea, and they said they were going to announce something similar in the future, and obviously they've just never gone back to it.
Well, Ginna, you know what? I'm gonna let you borrow, Resident Evil 4. 1 hour. Come on, Sentinel, you're next. Everybody's gonna be under a timer. Like, just power it. So it's like an hour, an hour a piece. So
yeah.
I don't know. I had to digest that, even though I did feel a little bit like the way he said it, like we were dirt. I remember when Jeff Keighley was like, so what about people that play old games? And he was like, well, we do have another product called the 360. What? I felt like, I'm like, what?
It's because it's because Don Matrick wasn't a gamer, because he's a businessman just like Jim Ryan, and so he doesn't know what to tell people. He doesn't know what to tell people. That's what it was.
The reason for that is on the same show, they had just shown off a new Xbox 360 that was designed for people who don't have the internet connection. So it was like the brand new version, wasn't it? Like the weird looking 360 that I've never seen in person. But yeah, again, as soon as he said that, it just makes him look like a complete asshole. And he was not good at explaining himself. That's it.
It's funny because Jim Ryan essentially said the same thing, but he just said it in like a way better PR way. He said, we believe in generations.
That's true.
And people were like, yeah, generations.
And they're still cross-gen.
Yeah, you know what? They gotta be brothers, because like, well, brother, soon, I know pretty soon I'm gonna get promoted, so how do you do just to kill the console? And surely no, he took pretty much his brother Don Matrix, script and placed it for PlayStation. But
wow,
yeah,
damn, no love for PlayStation.
It took it just took time. He knew, like, you know what, as long as Sean Layden, Sean Layden is here. Just write your whatever essay, especially from whatever that guy was from Twitter that created that Star Wars essay, whatever it is. That's
Willie Gaber.
yeah. So he probably did that essay. Dear Sony, I took this from my brother, and I thought it was good, so I'm gonna change some wording, like Uso said. He's trying to make it really, really nice. So let's use Generation when he was like, you know what, that's old, that piece of crap, game that looks all pixelated and 18-bit that nobody plays. So yeah,
Yeah, I think
change a lot of wording.
Yeah, he's speaking of Woody, I just want to touch on that because he's had a lot of flack this last week for his essay.
Last week, take the whole month.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've spoken to him a few times. I've even played a few games with him. He's actually quite a nice guy. But then on Twitter, I think he doesn't come across the best. So a lot of people just get this impression of who he is. If you actually speak to him privately or message him or chat to him, he's all right. But yeah, on Twitter, he just comes across as the most hardcore fanboy, ready to jump on stuff. And yeah, it's a shame. He's a nice guy as well.
No wonder there's a game dedicated to him. And I saw it on the Xbox, and I saw it on the phone, and I know it's on PlayStation. It's called The Old Man's Journey. I got it.
I agree. Will is a good guy, but he goes into goblin mode when it comes to Twitter and console wars.
I think I should touch on what I've played this week, really, shouldn't I? Because I haven't actually said anything. I'm very excited this week because it's WrestleMania week. So I've been hammering, when I get any time, WWE 2K23. GM mode is like crack to me. I cannot stop playing that mode. And I managed to hook one of my mates into there. So I've got a group of mates who I always game with and do board games with in real life and stuff. And I've been saying to them, this game is like a board game, but on your Xbox, where you do like you have the little cards and the power plays and stuff like that. But it's also like Football Manager, or I guess for you guys, it would be more like Madden GM mode. Where you run a club and buy players and sell them and do a draft and all that stuff. And my mate's come over and he was like, I'll have a quick go with you on the way home from work. And that was about 5 p.m. And he was there till nearly 1 a.m. And I was like, mate, you got to leave now. You got work in the morning. And he was still like, oh, we'll do one more week. And then I'll go, we'll do one more week. And in the end, I had to kick him out to get him home so that he would actually get up for work the next day. But tomorrow, he's back over and another friend is coming over. So we're going to do a free player GM mode. And I know what's going to happen. The week after, we're going to have to restart again when someone else wants to play and we do a 4-player GM mode. But yeah, that game is excellent. They've really improved on it from previous versions. I remember it was about 3 years ago they released that one that was just a broken shambles at launch. Did any of you play? Was it the number 20? Was it the WWE 2K20? I think that's the one. If you Google it, it's just glitch after glitch. It's such a bad game.
That was the one with Brock Lesnar on the cover?
Yeah.
You know what? These sports games need to go for a more realistic thing. Like in between the games, you go to the nightclub, you get in a fight, you get arrested, and then there's a huge fucking thing, and you get suspended for 4 games or some shit if you don't win the fight. But if you win the fight, then they're like, oh, you're not suspended, you're good to go.
There's a game called Legends of Football where you run a small football club in the UK. And then when the players stop training and finish training, or they finish the match, it turns into that. So you got to let your players go out and have fun and recoup. But they go to clubs, they get in fights, they get in the press for the wrong reasons or have affairs, and you've got to try and manage them and stop them basically ruining their lives off the pitch. Yeah, it's really fun. It's such a bizarre game.
That's what we're missing, See, right there. That's like realistic,
Yeah. Funnily enough, no teams would let them use their licenses to be in the game, so that's the trade-off.
I see.
I've also been playing Spider-Man Remastered as well. That's a really good game.
Nice. Have you played Miles Morales or?
No. I got a PS5 about a month or 2 months ago now. and I'm working my way through that. So I've played God of War, a bit of Demon Souls, completed Stray. I've been on a lot of games there recently, and yeah, I got Spider-Man Remastered and Horizon. What was the first one? Zero Dawn, isn't it?
Yeah, Zero
Yeah.
Dawn.
Yeah.
You know, I really like Horizon, considering everyone shits on it so much compared to the other games.
It's
But I
not bad.
cannot-
It's basically PlayStation's version of Far Cry. That's what it is.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's really good. However, I
Far
cannot
Cry
stand
Primal.
The Last of Us. The gameplay in The Last of Us is god awful. Like I'm enjoying the story and the cutscenes, but the actual play in the game bit is I hate it. It's so bad.
Are you on Last of Us the first part, or have you played
Yeah,
the
the
Last of Us
first one.
2?
So I'm playing The Last of Us 1, and I've already bought number 2. So I have to push myself through 1 because I know I've already paid for 2.
The gameplay in 2, I'm just gonna say, is a lot better than the first part.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm going to persevere. I'll get through it.
Do it. I also think the story is better in 2, but I don't say it publicly.
I'm sure no one will share this. It's fine.
You know what? And no spoilers, but for those of you that have played The Last of Us Part 2, when it goes to California, it kind of had Sarah Connor and Terminator vibes. With Ellie, she was like Sarah Connor. You know how Sarah Connor was in Terminator 2, how she was real hardened and vicious and shit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
because
spoil
like,
it.
no, I'm not, and I'm not gonna tell him. But it's like it gave me those vibes, and I was like, wow, this is badass.
Yeah,
This
it
is
was
the bit where
a
she
really
dies,
good
yeah?
story.
Yeah.
It's really good. I loved part 2 so much. The Last of Us part 1, I didn't have the same, what's the word for liking something?
Oh, you didn't have the same feeling. You didn't.
I didn't have the same feeling as OG Last of Us fans. So
Yeah, well, The Last of Us is about a father and a daughter. That's essentially what it's about. Whereas Part 2 is about revenge, obviously.
Yeah. It's weird, like some games connect with people and then it just becomes a massive thing. Like I always used to laugh at Stray when he was like nominated for Game of the Year and stuff, and I'd look at it, I was like, yeah, it's a game where you're a cat. It's just the most stupid thing ever. And then my daughter played it. She's 4 years old, and she was loving it. And she was like, it's so easy. She could play the first half of it, and then it gets a bit more difficult. So she stopped playing. So I finished the game off, and that's where the story really kicks in. And then that last 10 minutes, I was close to crying. It's something about the game has got me. You're playing this game where you're a cat and you're bringing the lights back to the world. Oh my God, I was ready to go. I don't know what happened.
Were you craving to buy a cat for your own?
I've got a cat, and I've never really been a cat person. So I've got a cat and a dog, and I've always shown my dog a lot of love, and the cat just exists in my house. That's how I've described it to my wife. But after playing Stray, my cat's my boy. I give him a smooth every time I pass him. I'm feeding him, making sure he's okay.
Thank you for changing the world, little guy.
I know, right?
Yeah, right.
Your pure love to human beings is great.
It was a great game. And I was pleasantly surprised after shitting on it for a year. So I must apologize to everyone who liked it, and I was telling them how stupid they were. The game's great. So I think we better move on to. We haven't really got topics on this show, but there was one thing I said we would talk about as a topic: is what games are everyone looking forward to this year? So start with Sentinel. I made him go last time. Is there one or two games that stick out for you, Sentinel?
You mean as far as this year? I mean, there's a lot of them actually, but I mean, as far as me personally, damn, I know a lot of people are all about Starfield, and a lot of people are really looking forward to it, but out of everything that's launching this year for Xbox, I would have to say my number one is going to be Forza Motorsport, just because I'm a big Forza fan. And I do like the Forza Horizon games, but there's just something really special about Forza Motorsport, especially with them going all out, making sure it has ray tracing, and it has, it's going to be 4K at 60, obviously, probably with ray tracing. And, I mean, ever since I first started playing the franchise, with Forza Motorsport 6, I've loved it. and that's my most anticipated game. I would say my second one is Redfall, just because with Redfall they said, it leans more towards Far Cry than Left 4 Dead, and I was like, yes, because I loved Far Cry for years. Now Far Cry 6, of course, was kind of disappointing, but when Far Cry was at its peak, I really loved the franchise. So hearing that Redfall leans in that direction, I was like, yep, it's definitely one of my most anticipated titles this year.
Yeah,
Have you
Forza
played the,
Motorsport looks amazing, didn't it?
Have
What's
you
up?
played the new DLC for Horizon 5?
Oh, didn't it just come out today?
Yeah,
rally?
it looks really good. Yeah, the
Yeah,
rally racing.
I did get the season pass. I played the Hot Wheels thing. I have not played the rally thing yet, so I'll probably be doing that this weekend after I complete the second playthrough of RE4. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm going to be starting that DLC this weekend as well. I've seen some gameplay from Wandering Dutch has been sharing,
Yeah.
and it looks amazing. It's old school rally where it's got the instructions that come up at the top of the screen, like you used to get in the Colin McRae games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right.
that's nice.
As
That
a-
helps too.
Yeah, and
Dutch is actually pretty good at those games too. I saw his gameplay clip. I was like, dang, this guy must have done a little bit of rally racing in real life.
You know what, and it's like you miss that because like with Dirt 4 you still had the old school rally racing feel, but with Dirt 5 they completely abandoned that. And so it's nice to see that come back with Forza Horizon 5, you know. It's really nice. Looking forward to it.
I remember, I think it was in the summer last year, me and Boba Fett Gaming got into a bit of a thing on Twitter where, you can set certain time trials and it recommends who you should try beat. It
Yeah.
kept recommending each other for us, so I just kept going and beating some of his times, and then he would post that he beat some of mine on different tracks. We just kept trying to outdo each other, so we're never
Nice.
actually racing each other because he's in Australia or New Zealand, I'm in the UK, so the time zones don't match up. But every time we log on to Twitter, like 12 hours apart from each other, we'd see one of us has beaten the other and have to get back on and go again.
Nice. I was doing that when with the Need for Speed, what was it? Need for Speed Hot Pursuit when they remastered it. There were different guys, we all follow on Twitter that are playing the hell out of it, and I'm always trying to beat some of these guys' times. Some of them are crazy though. I was like, Jesus, how the hell did they run it in like 38 seconds or something? It's definitely pretty cool.
What about you then, Shaddai? What are you looking forward to this year?
Oh my goodness. At first it was One Piece Odyssey because I'm like I like anime, but then again I never got the chance to buy it because once I heard that the space remake was gonna come out, so I never bought it. But then when they start, after game releases, then we have that show from Xbox and all that. I'm with Sentinel. Everybody's actually looking for Starfield, and you got my Minecraft Legends and Motorsports and Redfall. Redfall does not interest me so much because even though they say it's like Far Cry, I still gonna see it like Left 4 Dead. As much as they're trying to say it, I'm still gonna look at it like Left 4 Dead. But what interests me the most are actually two games. The Iron shout out to the Iron Lords, but they show one of the games that I was actually waiting for it, but they delayed it. I don't know if it was for one extra month or something like that. And it was Lord of the Rings Gollum. I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, and when I saw Gollum, I'm like, I really want to play that. I really wanted to know his actual story. We usually know like the Frodos and the Gandalf or whatever you want to call it, but then again, we had Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, and that was the story. Actually, that's actually a prequel to the main story of Lord of the Rings. Now, since we got Gollum, we could get to focus on his story, on how I know I read it a little bit on this one, how how a hobbit became a golem like that. So I
Yeah.
really want to. So I really want to know that story. And this one, with this, after the tech demo and all that, and when this studio actually decides to use the full power and features and whatever you want to call it, I wanted it to see it to the max. Whatever that Series X come with, you better utilize every bit from that console, and that will be Hellblade 2. After seeing the technology of using Unreal Engine 5, that is bananas. And the thing is that it's only Ninja Theory. Remember, Undead Labs is utilizing the same thing for State of Decay 3. Then we have In Exile, and that's another thing that I wanted to know, because supposedly that's going to be an FPS game. That's just a rumor, bro. It has been, I remember months ago, and I think a year ago, I forgot the owner of In Exile, Fargo. I can't say Wells Fargo because he's not a bank.
No, yeah, his last name is Fargo. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to. I know he's not a bank, but he said that he was interested. I know he did Wasteland, but then he was like, I would like to try an FPS. And I know he tweeted that, and I was looking for it. And I'm like, very interesting, but it's going to be, I'm not going to say similar, but more of like Avowed. I mean, he's talking about FPS. This one is different, but it's like when Obsidian say, "I want to make Avowed." It's part of Pillars of Eternity, but is in another part of the world. So his was like, he's like, you know what? Mine is an FPS, but it's on the Wasteland world, but different. You know what I mean? It's part of it, but it's different. I'm like, you know what? I'm looking forward for that FPS too. But right now, Hellblade 2.
Yeah, they pretty much only did the ARPG games because of funding. So now that they have, the backing of Xbox and Microsoft, they can make whatever game they really would like to make, and it's really exciting to see. I'm looking forward to the showcase in June.
No, I agree with you, because then again, there's one studio that haven't said anything. The only thing that we know is a third-person adventure, and that's Compulsion Games, creators of We Happy Few. And that's something that interests me too on what they did. But the last time I saw it on Twitter, it was because I think they were trying to enlarge. They're trying to make the studio a little bit bigger, because like I'm with Vinny right there. Once you get Microsoft money, forget the project. Let's start making the studio bigger. So forget the project later. So yes, Hellblade 2, whatever Compulsion Games is going to bring to the table. I'm looking forward for Avowed, Fable, Everwild, if it ever actually comes out, since all this.
Who knows what that is now?
Probably Ever. That's why it's called Ever Wild.
Yeah.
Never ever.
Right.
Yeah,
They called it Ever Troll.
Yeah, Ever Troll.
Right. Well, wasn't there an article from where Rare said they weren't even sure what Everwild was supposed to be?
Yeah. Because
that doesn't help speculation, because now people are like, oh shit, Rare, what are you doing?
Well, I think the main guy kind of left, and he was like, you know what, let's scrap the whole thing and do it from scratch. And I'm like, whoa, that was bad.
If that was one Xbox project by itself, I wouldn't have been as concerned. But they've done that with they did that with Halo Infinite Story or some shit like that. They scrapped it, and then they had to go back and do it over, and it's like, come on.
I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
What it sounds like because Joseph Staten did an interview, didn't he? And when they brought him back, and he said about what the state the story was in, and they were trying to bring crafting and all this stuff into it, and just random stuff. And he was like, "Yeah, get rid of all this shit. You don't need any of this. This is what you need to focus on."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Compulsion Games. I think the only thing I've heard about their game was Phil Spencer. I think it was last year in an interview when he was asked about his most anticipated game or something, and he said it was one he'd played at Compulsion, but they're not ready to show it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that means it's might mean it's pre-alpha at this point.
Yeah. Which also
And
means, what have they been doing since We Happy Few? They've just been chilling for a few years, holding interviews, new people.
Right.
see, it connects. That's why I say we happy few. So we're few people that are happy that we're not gonna show you anything. So, I'm actually looking forward to it. But I hope this year they're actually gonna show it.
I think with the bigger size, they probably had to like reconstruct their whole studio and all the positions, and just because they went from like a small indie studio to like now a AAA budgeted studio, and
Yeah.
obviously with that comes a lot of changes.
Well, right now I think they only have 80 people, and they said it that they don't want to hire that many, so it doesn't have this. And they never said the 3 for 3, but you want to keep it at minimum so you could actually work easily instead of having 500 employees under you, and then you're gonna have all these headaches.
Yeah.
So, unless if they use that money to create a different studio, so one will concentrate, like let's say that third person adventure game that they were talking about, and that was a PR community manager that said that, and another one could actually probably say, you know what, let's make We Happy Few too, and this studio is going to be actually focusing on that one. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to actually separate, or create 2 different studios for different things.
That's definitely possible. Well, and with Compulsion Games being quiet for such a long time, and with it being a small studio, their last game came out in what, 2018, 2019, something like that.
I think something like that, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
so they've had 4 years to really work on it, and you don't really have to have you don't have to have hundreds or even thousands of developers to make a quality game. You just need to give talented developers time. So, I mean, hell, Compulsion Games could essentially shadow drop something this year, this summer. They could, because they've had time.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if they had 80 and they pumped out We Happy Few, and they were able to make a quality product with the amount that they had, you give them 4 years and they can pump out something else. And I think I want to say that I would not be surprised if they shadow drop something just like they did with Hi-Fi Rush this summer.
I just hope they don't do that very so often, because then after that we're gonna end up expecting every year that they're gonna shadow drop something. It was a good Hi-Fi Rush, but you don't want to do it way too constant, and then
Yes,
all of a sudden, like,
yes.
yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I completely get that.
It's not the first time Xbox have shadow dropped a game either. It's just that was the first time they've done it in a little show. Like, you kind of used to kind of expect it at E3, or there'd be a beta or something, and you can now try the multiplayer now or something like that. Whereas this was just a game nobody knew about, completely off the radar, at a show that wasn't their main event. And it's, yeah, here we go try this. Man, Hi-Fi Rush is so good as well.
I wouldn't be surprised. Let's say if they make another one, they don't do it at E3, but they might do it at Gamescom. That would be great.
Yeah.
That would actually be great.
Be great if it was Project Mara. I've been looking forward to that from Ninja Theory.
That's another one, and I think that's the reason why they showed that tech demo, for that particular reason.
Yeah, they showed a bit of that game, haven't they? And the graphics look insane on it, where they reconstructed part of their office and the kitchen and stuff.
Do we know how many people are working on Project Mara from Ninja Theory?
No,
I
don't
think
think so. I mean,
I think that was more of a demo. Well, no, they only showed Project Mara, and that was pretty much it. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I know it was like a black screen, and then it was a Project Mara. I think we only had an audio on that time.
Gotcha.
Remember, I think they're more into the visuals. This look great, whatever. But we have noticed how they're doing things. Now it's not more about visuals. Now they trying to utilize the audio. That's why they keep saying when you play Hellblade 2, use your headphones. Why? Because we hear all these things and we believe we're actually like we're going crazy because it sounds so good. So I wouldn't be surprised that Project Mara, which I think they say is a horror, so they're gonna utilize the audio to the max, and we're gonna get scared. I'm like, wow, I hear the wall, some type of fight or whatever the case may be, or the bed making some. You already know what sound it is. You know,
Mara's going to be a blind girl, so you play the whole game blind, and you have to navigate from hearing. Oh,
I hope not. No, with the graphics they've shown, what a waste that would be.
I know, right? They'll be like, you are blind, and you have to navigate this whole world using your hearing only, and everyone's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You're playing as Helen Keller.
Right? Yep. Oh,
I found the first Hellblade game quite scary because of the audio. If you play it in the dark, all the lights off, and you got that the voice from hell speaking to you, and then the multiple voices and stuff. That game took me a lot longer to finish than it should have. Just because I kept stopping every hour or so, and then I'd go play something else for a while, then go back to it. It's such a good game as well.
Yeah, I played it at night too, but I didn't have that same experience. Like, oh, you know, I'm hearing the, you know, something is behind me or anything like that. But when you're really into the game, the audio actually gets into you. Yes, you start looking around like, is this me or whatever? But yeah, they're the masters of you know, trying to mess around with your brain and listening to music. So I think they're going to use a lot of the audio when Project Mara, whenever it decides to release. But at the same time, I expect Ninja Theory to do two things after Hellblade 2. If you have, I know people, I know they're not going to like this, but remember they released, damn it, the
Overwatch clone.
Yeah, the Overwatch one. I forgot.
I really like that.
Bleeding
game.
Edge.
On arrival.
Yeah, bleeding down the edge. So, anyways, no, I know it's Bleeding Edge, but see, if they do Hellblade 2 and all that, I wish for them to take their time, because remember they said they have two different teams, but if you have one team that will dedicate their time to at least remake Enslaved.
Odyssey to the West. Yes.
Yes. That game and a sequel to it. Oh my God. That game is going to go bonkers. Because remember, they did, and I can see that because remember, they made the DMC when he was whatever that's called. You know, with
a bit neon filled.
Yeah, I forgot I'm thinking of Nemo. I don't know why I say I'm thinking of Nemo, but the emo. There you go. The emo Dante.
Yeah.
So
they definitely need to bring back Enslaved, Odyssey to the West.
Yes.
Just for Trip, if nothing else. Oh.
But that's what I'm saying, because now that we're talking about Hellblade 2, right? And you know that's something that we're waiting for. If I ask you, okay, Hellblade 2, let's go by the rumors. Supposedly it's going to release at the end of this year. How long is it going to take them from that Hellblade 2 until Project Mara?
I mean, look at Insomniac. They're pumping out games right and left.
Yes. And I expect that from Ninja Theory if they commit to that.
You won't get it from Ninja Theory, though. It's different management.
No, I mean,
Obsidian is the closest.
But I mean, like, if they committed to that, like, let's say, like I said, that second team, if they committed to that, like, you know what?
It doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter because it all comes from the top. See, Phil Spencer allows people to take their time. And Jim Ryan is like, nope, you better have it in 18 months. That's how it is. So that's why a PlayStation studio will work faster than an Xbox studio. Because if Phil Spencer was Jim Ryan, half of 343 would have been fired. I'm just saying.
True. That's true. it would have been done way before Phil Spencer actually took over, but
Yeah.
or,
Yeah, because you look at like the how some of these studios have faltered and how they talked up the initiative, and then the initiative has 8 people working for it and they had to have the help of Crystal Dynamics, yet they don't acquire Crystal Dynamics. There's been so many missteps with Xbox. It feels like they're going in the right direction, but they're making too many mistakes. They're just not efficient enough.
But that's because remember their mistakes always been, which I give credit to Phil Spencer because he said it. We are releasing games or announcing games way too early. That was
Yeah.
their problem. Example: Crackdown 3. So
Yeah.
that's something that even though I wouldn't be surprised, or like let's say if Ninja Theory was like, you know what, we have this project, but I would love to remake, let's say, Enslaved.
Yeah.
You're like, this will actually inspire us, maybe a sequel or maybe this project that we have, cooking in here. But the thing is that we want to know how the Xbox community or the PC is going to react to this, and we'll take that to that one.
As far as Ninja Theory goes, though, I kind of feel like their little card that says, "Hey, you can take one chance with the game." They kind of wasted that on Bleeding Edge. So as soon as even if Hellblade 2 is good, they were like, "Hey, we want to take a chance." No, you already got your Bleeding Edge. No, sit down. Hellblade 3 is what we want. That's all you get to make. And you have to earn that card after you make Hellblade 3. So I'm sorry, no.
It's a shame that Bleeding Edge was just dead when it arrived because it's actually quite a solid game. Like the mechanics.
It was a really good game.
And it didn't even get.
MOBA.
They didn't even get to. They didn't even get to reveal it. It was leaked like the day before. Someone went to their car and had it on their iPad. You remember? It leaked all over the internet, and I was like, "Oh Jesus!"
Also, the reason why it died was because there was no content. It released too quick.
Yeah.
But remember, Enslaved was well received, so I wouldn't be surprised if Phil Spencer would say yes to it. So that probably could help too.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think
with the ending of Enslaved, though, I don't know that you could have a sequel.
Probably have to be a reboot.
You'd have to retcon it essentially, or change the ending a little bit.
You could make a prequel on how everything went downhill. Went apocalyptic. You know what I mean? So they could have a prequel like that.
Yeah, but it was the teamwork between Trip and the protagonist. I don't even remember his name.
Monkey.
Yeah, there you go. Monkey. Okay, so it was Trip and Monkey. It was their teamwork that made the game memorable.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't. I mean, you could have it without him, but you'd essentially have to replace Trip with another female that he encountered before that.
I wouldn't say that because remember, she was talking about her father, but you could have Monkey there probably for whatever happened to him. You know what I mean? So Trip could be there. Probably her father was doing something else. So I wouldn't remove Trip out of the game.
And I know people who watch Dragon Ball are gonna understand this, but it feels like Monkey was Goku and like Trip was Bulma. That's exactly how it felt. Because Trip was tech savvy and Monkey was stronger than her, and he was a little stupid, I guess. And I mean, he's just a guy basically. He's just a guy, but he's not tech savvy like her. So relative to her, he's stupid. But she's smaller and she's still capable, but she's smarter. So with the whole Dragon Ball, because Enslaved was real popular when it launched, but we have Dragon Ball coming out of our eyeballs right now. So having Enslaved launched and be in a marketplace where there's so much Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, it would be a hard sell, even though people love the game.
Now that we're talking about Enslaved and all that, there's another game that actually came up to mind, and I know everybody's going to agree to this one, and that will be Black Myth Wulong.
Yeah, that looks great.
That looks great, and that's another game that I'm actually looking forward to it. What about you?
Another game to kick my ass, just like Wulong Fallen Dynasty is at the moment.
Yeah, right.
It was hard.
That's just
I mean,
mental.
I'm not as much of a fan of games that are gonna beat the shit out of me. You know, I might try it, but I try to keep it where I know I can at least beat the game without dying like 300 times. So, you know,
Just remember, it's not that it's hard. It just our mental mind thinks it's hard, but it's not actually hard.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
It looks beautiful as well. The graphics from that boss
Now,
fight look
now there's a different
insane.
way. Now there's a difference between when you have, having problems, mentally to something that you're a masochist.
Right.
Because you play too many punishing games. I'm one of those. I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore, but I ended up coming back again like an idiot. So I'm like, it's good, it's punishing, but I still gotta go. I don't like it, but I have to go back again.
Right. There's some Pinocchio game. What is it? That's coming out.
Lies of
Lies
P.
of P.
Lights up.
Yeah, there you go. That
Yes.
a lot of people are talking about, but it looks to be hard.
Yeah. I love
Isn't that an exclusive though?
No.
It's Game Pass Day One, I think.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah, I mean, I think all these titles coming to Game Pass is great, but how are you gonna? I mean, it's hard if that Family Pass $40 thing in the United States, if that's true, Jesus, I don't know how you're gonna justify that.
I think the reason why they mentioned, since I know we're drifting down to the Game Pass price, and that's because they're trying to remember. Why are they mentioning that? Is because of the Activision situation. Because now it's gonna expand more. That's the reason why they're trying to save $40.
I didn't tell them to buy Activision. They could have Activision could have stayed with Bobby Kotick. I don't give a shit.
See, yeah, but I'm the one who gave him the money. I just only gave him. I only gave him $70, so they're trying to put it at me.
Right.
They're the one who say, let's say $70, $70 billion when I only gave him $70.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, right.
No, but I think that's the reason why they said that, due to after being approved by by Activision and all that, that's a little bit way too steep. I wouldn't be surprised. 20, similar to Netflix. Remember, Netflix, they raised their price to 20.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised. The same thing as 20, but $40. Who's gonna take that? Nobody.
Right.
So,
Well, you remember what was it last summer? They announced that Games with Gold was going up or something, and there was tremendous backlash. And then within like
the
an hour,
$100
within an hour they walked it back.
There was backlash because they didn't announce it. They tried to shadow drop.
Oh, that's right, that's right. But there was such a heavy backlash that they said, no, we're not going to do that. So hell, that could be the case with this. They just want to see people's reactions, and if they see people are like, hell no, then they'll be like, oh, okay, $25.
Like, okay, $30.
Hey, I'd be game for $30, man. That's straight.
Yeah, I think it'll be around 30, 35.
The funny thing about the whole Xbox Live Gold increase was around that time you had all the so-called insiders who know everything, all saying that Xbox Live Gold is about to go free any moment now. Any
And they
moment
did the
now,
opposite.
they're gonna go free.
They doubled the price.
Yeah.
right.
They doubled down.
I read somewhere, I know Phil tweeted immediately saying they were going to walk it back. But I read somewhere that he hadn't been consulted on it. So it was like a different division. It's like decided, we're putting the price up.
That's a hell of a way to find that out. He's like, what the hell is going on? Why are they saying this? Oh, well, we were gonna do it, and you didn't know about it. Oh shit!
They walk in the room, and Phil Spencer slowly turns his office chair around.
Right.
Did any of you watch that documentary where they were on about how they set up Xbox initially?
Yeah,
They built the first console.
Mm-hmm.
It's that one bit about the guy who turned off that server. He's like, well, it's not being used for anything. And then Bill Gates messaged him saying, I play solitaire with my friend on there. You need to turn that back on.
Oh man.
That's my dedicated server. What are you doing?
What?
It's like, oh, nobody uses it. There's old games that are not played anymore. We don't really need the server on. And then Bill Gates messaged him like, yeah, I play the games on that server. You need to switch it back on. So
Wow, that's funny. Yeah, that's funny.
that's when you know you've messed up in your job. When the guy who runs the entire business is like, yeah, you need to walk
The
that
one
back.
server he
Yeah.
uses himself.
Yeah, he's like, turn it back on your way out the door.
Vinny, what games are you looking forward to the rest of the year?
Oh man, so many games, but starting off with next month, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Dead Island 2. I'm gonna have to get both of those games. Dead Island 2, man, it looks really good, and it's Unreal Engine 5, so
It looks great. Yeah.
phenomenal looking. Of course, Jedi Survivor looks amazing. That's no doubt about it. But for the rest of the year, Starfield. I actually wasn't looking forward to Redfall when it was first announced, but as time went on and they announced more like gameplay mechanics and also more gameplay, it looks really good. So I'm excited for that title. And Forza Motorsport, of course, and hopefully we see either Fable, Avowed, or Hellblade 2 this year. One of those coming out this year would make a banger of a year for Xbox.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same with Redfall as well. I think Back for Blood had left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And when they showed it, it looked a bit.
I
When they
agree.
showed it, it looked a bit similar, and it's like, oh, not another one.
That's how I felt with Redfall. That's why I'm like,
Yeah, I think them recently saying it's more like Far Cry.
yep.
You can do a single player, you can do it online co-op, and you can all go the same character if you want, and you're not tethered. So you can all walk off whatever you want in the open world and do whatever you want. That has me more excited for Redfall now than I was before. Yeah, when they first announced it, I was like, oh my god, I loved Left 4 Dead, but no one has managed to build a game like it. Just stop trying.
If it's Arcane, right? Arcane Studios that makes Redfall.
Yeah.
Yep.
If they
Okay.
can nail the boss fights and also character abilities and mechanics, it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, as long as the boss fights aren't like Atomic Heart. Oh Jesus.
I kind of like the boss fights in Atomic Heart. They're really good. But
It just relies too much on melee,
I guess that's true. Especially in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I started Atomic Heart. I've started so many games this last month. Because I work nights now, I have like a week where I won't be able to play any games, and then I'll have a week solid where I can do. Everyone's asleep in the house, and I can get like a good 5-6 hours a night in, sometimes more, and I'll blast through loads. And what I need to do is I just need to pick one, and do that game, and then pick the next one. Because at the moment I've got about 8 games on rotation, and not really finishing any of them. So.
You were in other words, you were on the clock. I'm like, nah, 3 hours for this. Let me go 3 hours for another one. Forget it.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd be like, right, I'm going to play this game till this time, and then at this time, I'm going to turn this game off and start this game. And that's how I'm working at the moment with my games. I still haven't finished Hi-Fi Rush because of that. I love the game, but I'm doing like an hour
Same.
every few days.
I haven't finished it either because these games are just coming in too fast and too quick.
Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah,
I started Atomic Heart, thought, oh, this looks amazing. It's really having a bit of fun with it. And then I started Forbidden West, and then I started Spider-Man. I've got so much on the go at the moment.
Whenever these games come out, I always like sit myself down and play them until I finish it. Like I did that for Hogwarts, Atomic Heart, and Wolong, and I just make sure like I play nothing else, no matter how tempted I am. Like to switch again because I know I won't finish it if I switch.
You know what? You know what's horrible? When you see, for some reason, I know sometimes that ever happens to you, and it's like, you know what? Let me go to the Microsoft store, and all of a sudden you see all these deals, and you're like,
oh no.
And that one, I'm like, oh, that happened to me.
I haven't bought a single game through deals this year because there's just too many games I want to get. So I'm just like, I gotta not buy anything else but these new games.
No, and the thing is, see, I bought a game called Blasphemous, and it's like a 2D.
Oh yeah, that's a good game.
Yeah, that is a good game. So, but I'm like, I got all this game, but I never had one of those that is like 8 bits or 16 bits, but it looks good though. I'm like, oh my god.
You're like off to the backlog with you.
I'm like, yeah, games that you never got the chance to buy back then. Now when they're cheap,
that's the whole thing. Yeah,
I'm like, oh man, that happened to me last year. I know I went to GameStop to get a Funko. All of a sudden I saw Biomutant. I'm like, oh, and it was $20, but it was like around $40 on the Microsoft Store. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get this, and now it was like right there. So I'm like, oh. I'm like, games that you never get the chance to buy them before, now you get to buy them now, and plus the Game Pass situation.
Damn, didn't PlayStation Plus just give Biomutant away for one of their games?
I held out, and I'm glad I did, because now I have it on PlayStation. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, I'm going to go download it in a bit. I didn't realize it was out. I'll chuck it on there.
Yeah, I had to buy a physical copy because it was way cheaper than digital when I first saw it. It was still like $40 on the Microsoft Store. So I'm like, no. Sour! Yeah, I told them that I was. Yeah, I told them that I was here. So yeah, my buddy Sour from XBI International.
Finn was added. It's not. I don't think it's been officially announced yet. The 40. Is there someone leaking it?
Yeah, but as of right now, as we all know, there's a lot of games coming out this year, and I hope, honestly, me personally, I hope they put more games in the month of August, because remember, August has always been like the slowest month, and everybody's skipping it because usually is Madden. Usually it's Madden in the US.
All the seasonal games,
yeah. So
it's when all the kids are off school as well. Like, especially across Europe, you have half of July and all of Europe, all of August off. The kids need something to play. Just drop some games, for God's sake.
This kid needs one too.
if they can drop Atlas Fallen in Game Pass in August, I feel like that'd be perfect.
That game looks.
That game looks bananas.
Nice.
A game I'm looking forward to, which none of you have mentioned, because I don't think it's a headline-grabbing game, is Barbie Dreamhouse 4. No, I'm joking.
You got to say Marvel Snap. I know it's Marvel Snap.
No. Pikmin 4.
Oh, Pikmin 4, yeah.
Well, I can't say ooh because I've seen it but never got the chance to play it.
It looks good.
But Zelda, I wish to play it.
The OG Pikmin game.
The thing is, I had a Nintendo Switch, but my daughter broke hers, so I have to give my Switch to her. With nothing, so I didn't end up with nothing. But I did. Nintendo is another one. They are bringing it in every year, so I give prize. But I still waiting for another F-Zero. Everybody's with this race. All this racing with Forza.
I hope they save it for their next console. Like F-Zero is that type of title.
No, I doubt it because I think on Twitter I don't know if this is true, but they show the special edition of the OLED for the new Zelda. And I think that's going to bring more sales to it. So I doubt it for the next console. So
we'll see.
They're in no rush to release a new console, are they? They're just selling so many at the moment.
No. They're like, dang, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No, and here's the thing. F-Zero. sometimes I'm like, when is Nintendo is gonna release Mario Sluggers? I love Mario Sluggers, the baseball game.
Yeah, all the
I'm like,
Mario sports games are fun.
oof. The Strikers, I never got the chance to play.
Strikers was fun.
See,
I've not played Strikers. It kind of reminds me of Sega Soccer Slam whenever I see it, because that game was amazing back on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, no, Strikers. I used to when I was a kid. I used to go to something we call it a youth center here, where it's just kind of like a recreational center with like pool tables and video
Yeah.
game consoles. And I remember I used to go there when I was a kid, and like all the kids would play like Mario Strikers, and it was really fun. Like I enjoyed it a lot back then.
yeah, man.
Nice.
Mario Golf.
Games.
This one needs to come back.
I know they have Mario Tennis, Mario Striker, but I'm still waiting for that. Mario Sluggers, F-Zero. I wish they could make another new Donkey Kong game.
Yeah, I wonder what they have slated for their showcase when it happens.
Usually
interesting.
that usually happens on a Wednesday. So let's see how it goes of that same week. So let's see how it goes. But man,
Metroid Prime 4. I'm waiting for that.
God, geez, yes. Come on now. I think that's the reason why they have the remaster, because that means that this year they might. I wouldn't be surprised if they announce it this year and ended up really being released at the end of the year, like
Yeah,
it happened. Like it happened last time. I think it was Zelda and Mario. They were battling out for Game of the Year. That would be great.
Pikmin's going to be Game of the Year this year. Okay, let's get real.
Oh
Walk
God.
it. Did any of you try that Was it Exo Primer? It's called.
Exo Primal.
No.
Yeah. Did any of you try that?
I did.
Really good?
It was good. It was good. I like it. I'm getting it. Despite it coming to Game Pass as well. But it's kind of like I don't remember if it was 4 or 5 player co-op multiplayer mode, and you kind of go through like waves of enemies and do these objectives. Each character has an ability. The cool thing is you can swap characters in the middle of a match. You don't have to wait till the end of the match to do so. And there's PvP elements to where, like, at the end of all the objectives, you have one final objective to do, and you have to finish it while you're fighting the other team you're going against. So it's a cool idea, and I think it has a single player story that'll come out on launch as well.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I didn't get around to playing it. Or Diablo as well. I didn't get to play.
No.
Like I missed out on that one.
Diablo 4, how did I forget? Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that.
See what I mean? So many of them that we keep forgetting. You know what I mean? And I'm still. Oh, and this one. Oh my God! I said it. This is one of the games that I wanted it to play. I think it's called. It's something about the Benedict Fox.
Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch, or
yes,
the last case of Benedict Fox
last
or whatever.
case, yes.
Yeah.
Cumberbatch, isn't that the actor? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too. That looked really, really interesting, and I think it's coming in April too. I think it's April 28th, something like that. And I'm like, my goodness, I want to play that game too. I love that.
I can see when we get to September, October time this year, maybe a few games are going to look at everything else that's launching and decide, yeah, February's looking good. I might just drop out to the first quarter of next year and just take a little a dip out, because there's some big games coming out the second half of this year. Some of the other games got to be looking at next year and thinking, I'll just slide it back a bit.
And every game that's came out so far has just been really, really good. There hasn't been a mediocre title yet. So
that lets you know that even though it's not a good thing to say, but at the same time you have to. That's the good thing of that COVID. they actually dedicated their time to the projects, and now they're they're receiving the fruit of their labor. So now everybody's pretty much liking every game, every game that is actually releasing. So apart from Cyberpunk launch, but
The
that's
Cyberpunk DLC though might be a game changer. We'll see.
Yeah, games are launching this year and they're just working and not needing patches.
Yeah,
Like,
I know, right?
well, apart from The Last of Us
Hogwarts
on
Legacy
PC.
and yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is that the stuff that we're seeing right now, that's what we wanted it to see from no matter which company, Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft. When you dedicate time to your project like that, even though Forspoken came out horrible. That's the only one that I could. Yeah, that's the only one.
Forspoken.
Jesus, I killed that studio.
Yeah, and it's not Forspoken; it's false spoken. So
For broken.
Yeah, for broken. So right now we see a lot of good games coming. And we haven't complained about anything. Like, what, this one is good, but this one is coming up. But we in every podcast you're gonna end up hearing somebody say, "I'm going back to this game again because it was good." So in other words, you left it that you actually left a mark on that game, on that gamer or that player that wants to go back. Even though there's a new game that came out, it's coming out soon, but at the end of the day, once we finish that one, we're still gonna come back for that game.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Also, Armored Core 6. Yeah,
Look at that! Look at that! Look at that!
So many games.
So many games. I keep forgetting about them.
It's like you almost need like a complete list. And it's like you can't even put all the games that are coming out this year on the list. Just like the games that you personally are interested in,
Yeah.
You know what?
There's tons of them.
Last year you could put all the anticipated games on like one hand, Now it's a different story.
Now let me ask you this. Now that we're talking about all this game, do you really think, now that we're talking about backlog, at the same time we're talking about new games and all that, do you really think it's still worth keeping Game Pass, knowing that we have a really long backlog, probably double the size compared to Game Pass itself?
Yeah. Most of the games I want to play this year are coming to Game Pass, and I've got so many games on Game Pass that I still haven't finished yet.
But
Game Pass is my backlog. That's the problem.
See, me, if I remove Game Pass right now, I have probably like 420 games.
Yeah,
Nice.
like, obviously with like new games, you're not gonna get all of them. Like that.
Yes, you are. First party. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
But it was like the thing with Game Pass. I don't know if you guys have the same sentiment, but like if I cancel my Game Pass membership and they make an announcement the next like week or month, then I go through FOMO, like fear of missing out, and then I reactivate, regardless of if I'm gonna play the games or not.
Yeah.
It allows you to try stuff as well. Like, there's so many games I've played because they're on Game Pass that I probably would never have paid for or bought, and I absolutely loved them. Like, Narita Boy from Studio Koba. It's one of my favorite games of like the last. It was out 2 years. It was his 2-year anniversary today, actually. So that game is just fantastic, and I stumbled upon it because Skillup did a review and he was raving about it, and I was like, oh, okay, looks interesting. Not really the type of game I play. And then chucked on Game Pass and it was there, and I was like, okay, I'm definitely giving this a try then. And my God, what a game that is! And they've announced a spin-off now, Harada Girl or something. It's like a spin-off of Naruto Boy. And like, if that's not on Game Pass, I'll be buying that game day one. And that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Game Pass and me stumbling across that game.
It's like Vampire Survivor. That's another game that every guy
Oh,
needs
yeah.
to
Was how?
everybody.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go right ahead, Vinny. Go right ahead.
I was gonna say, with how many indie developers and even third party publishers putting their games on Game Pass, it just shows you kind of like the industry and how much they love Game Pass and what it does for the games. Otherwise, nobody would put their games on Game Pass,
Yeah.
especially day one.
Yeah, it's the best thing. Like a lot of these arguments, people are the devs don't get paid. So, well, you think they're putting their games in there for free? You think these developers and people who run studios are so stupid that they look at the deal being offered and go, "Ooh, we're not going to get paid," or "Ooh, we're going to lose money." Yeah, let's put our game there. Let's chuck it on.
It's kind of similar to like, a little off track, but it's kind of similar to like how solar works. It's a win-win-win situation. The customer wins; they save money on energy. The utility company wins because they get tax breaks, and the company doing the solar wins because they get more customers. The only people that lose are the people that don't go solar, and in this case, the only people that are losing are the people that choose not to get into Game Pass.
Yeah. And I'm glad that PS Plus is kind of up in its game a bit as well. It's still not, for me, it's still not quite on the Game Pass level, but they are starting to add a lot of games that I quite like and I want to pick up. And their games seem to be a lot older. They don't do really many day ones, apart from like Tachia they did this month. But there's a lot of games that I've missed or not quite caught up on. I've looked at them like The Quarry and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not sure if I want to pay full price for that. And then they've appeared on PS Plus, and it's like, yeah, go on, I'll download it and put it in the backlog ready for one day.
What's it like? $18 a month for the premium?
It came. I don't know. It came with the console for me, so I haven't.
The PS Plus Premium. Yeah, it's like $18 a month.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it's like if you're gonna charge $18 a month, you have to do something a little better than Game Pass.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When we heard about this, $50. That's a lot. That's a lot because the maximum. I'm not gonna say the maximum because I seen like in boxing, they charge almost $30, and it's still, they need to work on. They still need to work on that application. But like I said, Netflix have a lot of content. The only thing that there is right now is almost to $20 US dollars.
Yeah.
So that means if this one's gonna be that means this one might be the same, going the same route. $20 for the ultimate. Why? Because of the Activision Blizzard thing. Because they're gonna get a lot of money from that Warzone thing and the Warzone on the phone and the Candy Crush. So I wouldn't be surprised that one to be cheap, while the other one, they're gonna generate money, coming from the back door. So
we better get Candy Crush on Xbox. Otherwise, that's some bullshit right there.
You know what? Have a good night, because
the Jewel 3,
Yeah. There's a game called Gems War for that.
Yeah, Gems War.
No, but what I see this year is that they're going, full force with the games. Yes, there were a lot of delays, but as we see right now, the delays are pretty much really, really good because the games are actually coming out how it's supposed to be. I'm just happy this happened. The industry needed a little bit of a shake up. Reflect within yourself that you're still talented, and whatever you do, it will flourish later, even though some managers are pretty much ass wipes, but look at now, we got One Piece Odyssey, we got Dead Space remake, Resident Evil 4 remake, Hi-Fi Rush. Oh my god, Hi-Fi Rush. And now we already got the snippet of Starfield. Now we got the Starfield showcase coming up. I want to see those 1,000 planets that they supposedly promised us. the motorsport, like we talked earlier. Um, I just really, I'm just happy that everything is going. I'm not gonna say according to plan, but it's there, so I'm happy for it.
Yeah, is the Starfield showcase a separate thing, or is it the Xbox showcase?
Yeah, I think it's a separate thing.
I think
Okay.
they're gonna put them to. It's like separate but together because the way because Aaron
It's
Greenberg
like peanut
wrote
butter
that.
and jelly. You know?
Yeah, something like that. Because I know Aaron Greenberg not too long ago. He says, you get a duo. It's like he said something like that. He said, Xbox Game Showcase plus Starfield. So that means you get the showcase, but then he's gonna go straight to Starfield. So
Yeah, they might talk about stuff in Starfield very, very like basic, but then do like a deep dive right afterwards. Because then they said they had 2 events back to back.
let me see, because I know I saw it not even. I saw it not too long ago. I'm like, that sounds kind of that's kind of interesting right there. Of the stuff. Let me see. Yep. Save the date, June 11th. We have a double feature planned with our Xbox Game Showcase plus Starfield Direct. Excited to see the work our studios and partner teams you doing to bring this to life. So double feature. So that means we're gonna have a back. The way my understanding for that is like a back to back. Let's go for the showcase, and it goes straight to Starfield.
Nice. Very nice.
So 3 hours, I'll take it.
Right? Yeah, especially if they because with Starfield, I know people still have a lot of questions, So hopefully they can answer a lot of those questions at that event.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So, I'm one of those when they say 1,000 planets. How are they gonna do it?
Yeah, I know, right?
That's huge.
That's quite a
Unless
bit.
there's only one way that they could do it, unless if they're gonna say we due to the if you want to explore or you're trying to be 100% completionist, are they gonna use the cloud storage for that to enlarge that? I could see that happen.
I think some of the planets are procedural, aren't they? So they said they'll just be procedurally generated planets, but then
Yeah.
some will have bits where you go to in certain areas will be handcrafted, and that's where the missions and stuff take place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Really, I
think
don't
that's
know about you
perfect.
guys, but I'm really looking forward to that new Minecraft game coming out next month.
Oh yeah, Legends, Minecraft Legends.
That looks, yeah. When they first announced it, I was like, I don't know about this. And then I watched the gameplay. It was last month they released, where they showed what the game actually looks like when you're playing it, and it's like a really good RTS game with a tower defense built in as well. That looks really good.
Don't they have another game in the works that's like a RPG?
There's gonna
Or
be
is that-
Minecraft everything. There's gonna be Minecraft GTA one day. First
Now
person in Block City.
and remember, we have that new Lego that looks like Horizon 2K.
Yeah.
Lego 2K. So I wouldn't be surprised Minecraft 3K just to make it higher.
Is that the racing game? Or was that a different one?
Which one you talking about? I'm sorry.
The Lego one you mentioned then, is that the racing game? Or was it
Yes.
another Lego? Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah. But
used to love-
since it's Lego, so we got Minecraft is something similar. They're both building. So Minecraft 3K.
I used to play Lego Racers back on the N64.
Yeah.
So when I saw this new Lego racing game announced, I was very excited. But they've announced you can't share blueprints with friends online.
I don't know. Maybe this time you're gonna be able to do that.
I know that's what they've announced for this one. You won't be able to share cars with your friends or blueprints. You can build something that looks amazing, and then you can't share it, which is just stupid. When in 2023, the ability to just share where blocks go should be really easy in your game.
Oh my goodness. But now What about how do you see changing a little bit of the course? What about that little Japan investigation thing? Do you see it very spooky about that? And I'm talking about the Microsoft ABK situation.
I think the timing was brilliant. Where they said it was a day before, wasn't it? Oh, we need to look into this, and then the day after, no, we're not even challenging this. Fine, you can go.
A lot of people assume like it has to do with like the U.S. and Microsoft's deal, or looking into the Japanese market, but I think it's just Nintendo really has a monopoly there, so it's Japan FTC was like, oh, it doesn't really change much because nobody really buys Call of Duty here, anyways.
Yeah.
The way I saw it, it was like one of those movies that they'll go like face to face, and all of a sudden they slap each other like I challenge you. So that's what they actually did to Japan. I'm like, I'm gonna challenge you. No, that's okay. We already did phase 1.5. We never went to 2. We still accept it anyways. So I don't want to go through there. But now the only thing that we're waiting for, it was weird, the timing. But like everybody said, everybody says, me personally, I'm like, they were next anyways.
Yeah.
The timing was weird. So now I want to know what
He's gone into the Nether realm for me. I don't know about you guys.
Right.
Yeah, so now we're waiting on New Zealand, which I know they're gonna probably accept it, no problem, no problems there. But that timing of Japan, man, I think they even had it on. They have it on a timer. 6 a.m. United States while everybody's sleeping, and it just went automatically just because they don't want to see it. So yeah, it just crazy. I know everybody is tired of it talking about it, but at the same time, as not only consumer gamers and all that, or journalists, if you want to call yourself journalists like that, for people that is watching this, but at least we managed to see the dark side of companies, how they like to how they manipulate it through the years on how to pretty much damage your competition.
Yeah.
So sooner or later, like right now, yes, it has been probably 30, 35 years for Sony. And I'm very surprised that Microsoft is the only one. We're talking about Nintendo never did it. Sega never did it. Microsoft is the only one that was like, you know what? We're gonna challenge you, and they went deep, very, very deep waters to pretty much unmask how Sony operate their thing. And we get to see a lot of things that we were pretty much shocked. And of course, we had that Epic, Epic versus Apple thing that they unreveal a lot of the things that we never thought of. So we managed, but now as consumers, now we're gonna pretty much look deeper to how companies are gonna be doing from now on, and especially how they're gonna treat us as customers. And I know Vinny said, remember when Microsoft said that it was going to be $100 something, and everybody backlash. That's because we are aware of a lot of things, and knowing this happening, now we're gonna go look even deeper to see what's going on. So sooner or later, somebody is gonna spill more of the beans. So even though people doesn't like it, but at the same time, I do love it because it's gonna come to light. Even the light is gonna get brighter and brighter every single time when something pops to on Twitter or somewhere else. So let's see.
Yeah, there's a lot that's come out through the ABK deal, but also like you said, the Epic versus Apple one and stuff. Like due to we found out about the cross-gen tax from PlayStation, where if your game goes cross-gen, you have to pay them a percentage of sales on microtransactions they would be missing out on if it was done on PlayStation, which is the most bizarre thing in the world. So it's like, oh yeah, your game is on Xbox, yeah, but it could be on PlayStation. So if you want us to play across platform, you have to give us a percentage of all the microtransaction money you make because it should have been on our platform. It's kind of their attitude towards it. And then you have the Resident Evil 8 deal, was it, where it says in the contract you can go to Game Pass, etc., and after 1 year, but whatever price they offer you, you have to tell us, and we can offer you the same and get the agreement first. Yes, plus.
Yeah, it's those weird stipulations that
they're
put
like,
in there.
I thought this was a marketing deal.
Well, you guys were giving me some money to run adverts. What's all this shit? Yeah. But no, it's crazy what they've tied games up into. And I imagine some of their contracts are like why we don't see certain games ever come to Xbox. I imagine it's, oh yeah, we'll pay you for the rights for this game for a timed exclusive. And then what the people don't read in, it's like you get those footballers who have the contractors where it goes, I can opt to have 5 years at any time.
The worst part about it is like we don't know about all of these contracts. Like we're kept in the dark. If Sony said like, hey, this is our contract, you know, this is what we're doing, I'd be more fine with it because it's like at least they're being transparent and we know. But it's just like it's the fact that we don't know, and we don't know why games don't come to Xbox. We don't know why they don't go on Game Pass, et cetera, et cetera. You know, that sucks.
For example, Exo Primal, I bet Sony was talking to Capcom, and they had a deal, and they're happy like, yo, we got a deal. We're gonna put it to game, and Sony's looking like, you're gonna put it to where? GameFly. Because I don't want to say Game Pass, like GameFly. Oh,
that's what one of those regulators has picked up, actually, is this type of thing, isn't it? Where the American ones, where the congressman, it's not so much the ABK deal. What they were saying was there's a trade agreement that says there has to be a parity in digital products between US and Japan, and by Sony being able to buy up like Final Fantasy, etc., it means that they have a digital product advantage for a Japanese company, and that's against the trade agreement. Just the whole
it breaks antitrust.
Yeah, so the whole Sony paying for exclusives thing is what is maybe going under the microscope next, because Congress want to look into it, and then Japan will have to do something because it's been brought to the... Imagine the whole paying for exclusive dies out in gaming in US and Japan. That's going to change things.
You either buy publishers or you don't get exclusives.
Yeah. You want the milk or buy the cow?
I think it's because they don't disclose those documents if it's done in Japan. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, and so it's just like, well, what the hell's going on, you know? Now the US is finally like looking into it, and who knows? It might be nothing burger, but you know, it might lead to something.
Yeah, it's like how do you know if they're sticking to the agreement if they don't have to publish the documents about the agreement?
Jeez, look, even the bird sounds like Jim Ryan when he's crying. So,
oh, sorry, those were my guinea pigs.
See, hey, even close.
Wow. You know, I think
games in their cheeks.
I think Jim Ryan is gonna. I think he kind of screwed up because now there's a lot more eyes on this situation than there would have been before, and now people are like, "All right, we're not worried about Microsoft. Sony, what are you doing?" And Sony's like, "Ah, shit," because they've pretty much been doing shady shit under the table. And yeah, people can say, "Oh, they're just business deals. They're just business deals." Yeah, I mean, with that train of thought, you could say, you know, working with the mob is a business deal. It's like it doesn't work like that. You know, they're pretty crooked. So they're about to get exposed, and I don't think they want people to know all the shady shit they've been doing.
It's mad when it was released, some of the games, how much they paid to put into PS Plus.
Yeah.
It just seems like they didn't, like they were trying to launch a Game Pass rival, but they didn't know how Game Pass worked, and they were offering insane amounts of money for just bang average games to go into PS Plus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they showed how much Game Pass had paid them to have them at launch, it was like a fraction.
You know, if they would have like PS3 games like Infamous in the service, they would do so much better. I'm just saying. Oh, I love Infamous.
Yeah.
Such a
They have
badass
some.
game.
That's a good
Sure,
game.
yeah,
That's a really good
there,
game.
but they have some now, don't they? They have some PS3 and PS1 games on there.
Well, you can only stream the PS3 games. You can't download them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Which
that
sucks.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And now that we were talking about ABK, we have one last thing though, unless if you guys have another one, and that will be the cancellation of E3.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Oh, Jesus.
It hurts.
I've
E3
never
was
been
always...
to an E3, and so
No,
it
me
sucks.
neither. As a kid, I always wanted to go. It was always one of
Same.
those things. Like one day, I'll just take a week out and I'll travel, go to E3. And
Yep.
yeah, that dream's gone because Jeff Keighley and his shitty face have ruined everything. I hate that guy. Like he does nothing good for gaming. Like the Game Awards is like something that we just didn't need. Like, there was loads
It's
of
just the
different awards.
Oscars for video games.
Oh,
Like,
it's awful.
Right?
Awful.
Well, you know what
Nobody
the
watches
you know what
it anymore.
you know what
It's so
E3
outdated.
stands for, right? Extinction extinct 3 times. These
Yeah.
past 3 years, it has been extinct.
Wow.
It's a shame.
oh
Jesus.
man,
They just need to turn it off and on again to see if that works. Give it a full reboot.
is it like officially done though? Like E3 is officially dead?
No, I
With
mean,
Only for this year.
it's done this year. But if it doesn't come back next year, I'd say they're done.
From the companies that have left, I think the last one was Ubisoft, and they were like, no. And then they decided to go to Summerfest, whatever that Jeff Keighley is doing, Summerfest thingy. So they actually moved from E3 to that one, to the Summerfest.
Oh man,
Yep. Well, not for nothing. Yes, I know a lot of people does not like video games awards, but it's all about company morale. Because the thing is, it's like in a movie. So let's say, how will you feel? Let's put it this way: how will you feel in a video games awards? And they say, best podcast channel of the year, and they say the Ginna. How you gonna feel? Nah, this is just fake. Is that what you're gonna say?
Obviously enough, I will
This
graciously
whole show is
accept my
fake.
award. And then I'll unveil under my suit, I have a shirt that says E3 is better than this. And then I'll walk off.
Right? Take the award and throw it in the trash can and kick his ass and spray paint
see
fucking E3 on his back. Yep, you gotta represent
he's
me.
gonna-
Tweets he put out today. Like almost immediately after E3 said it wasn't coming back, he put out a tweet saying Summer Games Fest, blah blah blah, and then he put another one out a couple of hours later saying E3 has failed to evolve. I saw this years ago. Summer Game Fest is what E3 should have become, all digital. It's like, mate, just let them have their moment. They're dying over there. Just in the knife.
He sounds
And the
like that
award
guy
for-
that gave the middle finger.
Worst E3 goes to E3. Congratulations.
Yeah.
For being not for nothing, but this is from being extinct 3 times. I'm coming back again. So let's
Yeah.
see. But,
It's a shame.
no, I always wanted it to go over there, but at the same time, I'm like, that's kind of cost.
Yeah.
Cost to go over there is very high. So sometimes it makes
LA.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know some of the best showcases ever were done at E3. Like Sony's last showcase with, I know a lot of people crap on the whole Ghost of Tsushima thing with the flute
Pipe
guy, but that was like so good.
The
You know,
flute guy.
like that was like, you know, it was like hella immersed, and I think people just didn't get it back then. And now we just have, you know, these Zoom 3s where it's just like an online showcase, which is cool, but it's, you know, nothing beats being there in person with like a stage production and like really going all out.
Probably what would have saved. I know a lot of people is not gonna like this idea, but I'm like, what would make it a bit different, maybe something fresh, was like, okay, today's E3 is gonna be in LA, 2024. Today's E3 is gonna be in Tampa or in Miami.
No,
it on the
hell
road.
no. You know what?
Yeah.
They need to throw caution to the wind and say it's in Detroit. Open doors. You can come in if you want to. Have that
South
shit
Dakota.
crazy.
You know what?
Detroit would be crazy. I'm telling you.
This
It's
year,
like
Look
you're-
at where
E3 goes
Burning
to
Man is,
Canada.
in the middle of the desert.
It's like you're in New York, here in New York State. So, you know,
Have it in Detroit. Have it in downtown Miami. Have it in Chicago. Have it in Toledo. Have it someplace where they're just like normal people. Say the doors are open. You can come in if you want. Everything would be crazy. I'm telling you.
okay, you know what? Let's live in Oklahoma, so when there's a tornado, we just be flying with it.
Now you know what? There's nothing really noteworthy in Oklahoma. So you know, I mean,
Wherever there's a spirit of Halloween, you'll find E3. You know?
if you're gonna have it in the south of America, if you're gonna have it in like the southern part of the United States, you need it in like San Antonio, someplace that's hopping. That's crazy, because then you'd have a lot of memorable experiences. You'd have crazy people showing up. It would be great. It'd be a great experience.
Yeah,
It's
Texas would be good.
See,
Yeah.
it's like for Jenna. I know you. They have Gamescom. It's the same thing. One in England, one in France, one there, one. You know, they have to change it a little. You know, they have to change it a little
Yeah,
bit. So, you know,
No, you'd piss off all the English guys, all the guys from UK, and you'd have it in London, and they'd be like, "Motherfucker."
they do. Yeah, fucking annoying.
I'd be
Used to-
actually
They
They
kinda
do
cool.
have they
But
do have
it's
a
the
big
same
games
thing.
festival once a year in the UK. It used to be in Birmingham, and now it's in London. I was
Oh
like, fuck
Jesus!
that! I'm not traveling to London again.
Is London like the LA or California of the UK or what?
It's just all companies seem to think, oh yeah, we need to put it in London. And it's like, well, UK's not that big. You can put it anywhere, and people will travel here. The problem you got with London, like the UK, you can travel for 2-3 hours, and you can get to anywhere in the UK. The problem with London is you can travel for 2-3 hours, and you're still stuck in traffic in London.
That is exactly
yeah,
like LA.
yeah, exactly like New York, exactly like New York.
Yeah.
So yeah, nobody likes traveling to London from outside of London.
It's just
It's a
congested,
pain in the
sounds
ass.
like, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yep. Chicago was the same way. I lived there for years, and it's like if you get stuck in rush hour, you'll be downtown for like 4 hours. Ridiculous.
Yeah, trains are okay. You can get a train into London, but it's trains that are really expensive over here.
Yeah.
Like they're stupidly expensive because we have this stupid system where we sold everything off. We privatized everything, like the railways and the electric
God,
companies,
yeah.
and but then what we did for the railways was, it's like, oh yeah, we'll privatize it to have competition. But then every section of the country is only run by one railway operator. So there is no competition. You all own your own little monopoly across the UK. It's fucking stupid, man. It's so stupid.
but you know what though? Sometimes it makes you see. Sometimes it makes you wonder. The reason why I say that is because PAX is all over the place. You know what I mean? So since there's no problem by having PAX, one in Boston, one I think is in San Antonio, and the other one is in LA, might as well do it with E3 also the same way. You know what I mean? And it
Yeah.
probably would have been a little bit better like that. I guarantee it would have lasted longer. Like, you know what? It's a different venue, different atmosphere. Now it's like, you know, happier. You know, a lot of weird stabbing. No, let's start on that one because you know that's how big cities are. But no, other than that, I just think sometimes moving into a different place, not permanent, but moving into different places, your feeling becomes, you know, like I want to go again, and whatever.
Like WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep, you should have
So
content.
excited.
You should have content creators fighting and like body slam each other through tables and stuff. It would be great.
Man, I can't wait for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest thing. Like, it's so fake, but it's brilliant. It's
No, I'm gonna tell you something. I saw in real life. Some are fake, but when they start jumping from the third core, of the
Oh, they hurt themselves.
ring,
that's real.
that's not fake. That's actually real.
It's fake, as in who's going to win, but the
Oh,
actual act of hitting each other, throwing yourself around, slamming yourself on your back, that's all real. That shit hurts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah,
but I
I'm
know
taking my daughter in July. She's so excited. She's a big Sami Zayn fan, and he's coming to Wales, so she's buzzing.
Oh, that's cool.
Wait, he's gonna be fat? Oh no, sorry. No, you said whale. I thought he gonna be all fat.
No, sadly not.
No. I haven't.
Sami Zayn going fat would be a good plot twist, though. That's some character development right there.
Yeah, I think his character has been long overdue. So
it's amazing how popular he is. Like, he's actually a problem for him now that he's got so popular. Because nobody really everyone was massive for Rhea Ripley, and then they were starting to build up the Cody hype. Nobody really cares about the Rhea Charlotte Flair match anymore. It's kind of like falling down the order because Sami Zayn just sold his parts so well. He became the most popular guy. They're just chanting it got to part where Cody Rhodes is coming out trying to do his promos, and people are just chanting Sami at him. So they've had to shoehorn him into it, where he's getting Kevin and Sami back together so he can be a part of it and ride the wave and get involved and get the hype back on him and Roman. But that's just one of those examples. You see it every now and then in wrestling, where someone just does their job so well they kind of ruin the plan for the business because they planned on another guy being the big sell, and someone else has come in. And he's ginger. You don't expect the gingers to do that well, Safe bet. Speaking as a ginger, we come in when you least expect it, and Sami's done it.
I like professional wrestling, but damn, I haven't watched it in a while. It's like the last time I watched it was when Randy Orton was fighting John Cena at SummerSlam.
God, jeez.
I know that's a while, but I started watching in '97, and so pretty much through the whole Attitude Era, I was real big into it. But I just got to where I was kind of like, I'm just not really interested anymore, and I just never really came back to it.
I think what happened to me. Yeah, I think what happened to me was after COVID, I kind of stopped because I was watching it all the time. Yeah. But the one that I will never forget, and sometimes that's a here and there. Sometimes I'll watch it again. Sometimes I don't. It was when Goldberg fought Brock Lesnar. Oh boy, that was
yeah.
Oh my god!
I mean, really I have seen some of those matches, like the Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, where he basically squashed Lesnar in front of his kid or whatever. It was like Goldberg's kid was there, and he fought Lesnar, and it was pretty much a squash match. He beat him in 2.5 minutes. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like I've seen matches like that, but as far as the entire pay-per-view, I just haven't done it.
That's why we always wanted. Well, me too. I always wanted a Sting against Undertaker, and that never happened.
Yeah. You know what? And JR actually has a channel, and he actually talks about the Sting thing quite a bit because people ask him, And he said it was just that at first Sting didn't want to show up, and then whenever they came in, they just didn't manage his storyline correctly,
Yeah.
And it's like, Jesus, it's like such a missed opportunity. I mean, look at all the people. Look at all the people that Sting should have fought against, like Triple H, The Undertaker, Kane, and they could have made him great matches, but his run in the WWE was just so lackluster.
It's like I think not too long ago, I didn't know that Undertaker was gonna meet with Bray Wyatt, and I'm like, oh boy, and that's something that I would watch real quick because that's two. I know it's two different characters, but it's like under the same underworld, if you want to call it like that. And I'm like, oh my god, this is a good story if they create it correctly. I'm like, oh my god, it would have been perfect. I'm like, probably Undertaker, since he's older, he could have been the next Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
One thing WWE have announced, which is a bit like what you were saying earlier that E3 should do, is they're going to start So they had NXT, which is doing really well, and then they did have NXT in the UK, and that got shut down in COVID. But what they said they're going to do now is now everything's up and running. They're doing NXT, and then they're going to do an NXT in Europe, one in Africa, one in South America. So they're looking to open up WWE in every continent, and then they're going to do a WWE World Cup where different people from the different WWE NXT brands across the world come and compete.
Nice.
To find like the best people for Raw and SmackDown. So they're kind of doing the whole the big events, but they're going to start moving it around the world to different locations.
They're gonna need like 10 different translators because some of these people will be speaking languages the other ones don't. Because it's like you got to call a match and you got to understand what the guy's saying. And if you got one guy that speaks French and one guy that speaks, he
Spanish
speaks
or
Pashto or whatever, it's like they're gonna miscommunicate or have them running into each other and shit. So it's like, I don't know.
Even just putting it in Europe. They're like, oh yeah, we'll just put one in Europe. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of languages in Europe. I think it's only a small place, but my God, we speak a lot of different stuff.
Oh yeah.
Are they still doing the 24/7 matches?
No, that belt's retired.
Oh, okay. Because that was fun. All over the place, it was like a 24/7. I'm like, wow, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, just turn up anywhere and fight. Yeah.
What is it? R-Truth was funny. Every single time he had that belt, he was funny.
Yeah.
I think it was Nikki Cross won it last. And after she won it, she walked off into the back. Yeah, walked off into the back and dropped it in a bin. But hilariously, she missed the bin, so it just fell on the floor next to the bin. Which sums up the title, really, is kind of just never quite what it should have been. Even getting rid of the title didn't go right.
Yeah.
I see. But, man, a lot of things.
I think it's about time to wrap up. We've done a good 2 hours. I've enjoyed having you all on. It is 4:30 in the morning here, and I've got a couple of hours gaming before the kids get up. Something to get out of. So, do you want to let everyone know where they can find you?
Well, people find me here, so that should be good enough. No, I'm kidding. No. People can find me on Twitter at Eternal Shaddai right here, pointing correctly, even though I'm missing a finger due to the background. But other than that, the same thing for the Xbox console, same name. And also, I stream on Twitch. It is not Eternal because Twitch doesn't let me write the whole thing. So I have to abbreviate ETE Shaddai, and it's all together. So it's ETE Shaddai to find me on Twitch. Until next time.
Nice.
And am I right in thinking Good Morning Xbox is gone off into the sunset now? It's kind of...
I was actually gone when that actually happened.
Yeah, I know you were on last week's one, which was kind of the goodbye episode. So
that is correct. So just to put it out there is a plan that you'll see me somewhere again.
Awesome. Okay.
Nice.
Keep our eyes peeled.
Yes. If you could understand in Spanish. I'll leave it there.
Better start learning.
No hable español, por favor.
Hey. Google Translate. Can't see it here. There you go.
Just add subtitles to the podcast.
Right.
Apparently, the biggest growing podcast market is Portuguese. And we have Fabio, who's Brazilian and speaks Portuguese, and we keep telling him, you need to start doing shows. And he's like, yeah, no, I don't fancy it. I'll do English. It's like, come on.
No fala Portuguese. No fala.
Yeah. And Vinny, where can we find you, mate?
You can find me on Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, Twitch, all under Uso Vinny. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Right, guys, thank you for joining. It was a pleasure to have you both on. I'm sure you'll be invited again one day. And yeah, one day we might do topics, but I quite like these conversations where it's not just what's in the news this week. It's just we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry I came out like that, so I just came with something right off my head real fast.
Drama alert.
Right, Sentinel, before we wrap out, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Xbox, it's all SSG Sentinel. Lower left of my little rectangle there. And I'm also on the PSN Party Podcast. It's pretty much every Wednesday on this channel. Also on Xbox Live Party Podcast. It's every Thursday on this channel.
He's becoming the new Cerebral Paul. If there's a podcast,
Yes.
you'll find
Okay.
Sentinel on there.
In a way, yes, in a way.
The new cerebral ball.
We're going to be back for another episode in 2 weeks, but I believe Sentinel, you're busy being married and stuff and being selfish.
Yes, yes. In 2 weeks, I won't be on the next episode we have because it's going to be me and my wife's 19th wedding anniversary. So I will not be on that
Nice.
episode.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations or commiserations, seeing how you feel on 19.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Right, I'm going to end the show then, guys. Thanks a lot, and thanks for
Yeah.
everyone who tuned in.
Thanks for having us on.
Definitely.
Thank you for watching.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.